Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL predictions segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for the 2016 Week 17 NFL season. Well, anyway, people, the first game I'm going to talk about, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at home over the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta still has something to play for. They could clinch the number 2 spot in the NFC with a victory. They're averaging nearly 34 points per game. This could be a very high scoring game. New Orleans is scoring 29 points per game, about 29.1 points per game. Quarterback Drew Brees is the number 1 in passing yards in the NFL, while Matt Ryan is number 3. This should be a shootout. Atlanta being at home, coupled with the fact, they are playing for something in this particular game. I think Drew Brees will probably play for the Saints. Drew Brees, as far as personal accolades, he has something to play for. Drew Brees is currently, he has 4,858 passing yards, so he's about 140 away from 5,000. I do believe he will play. I think he will get 5,000 yards, but he and the Saints will lose this game. I like Atlanta at home. Next game. Well, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens on the road to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore has been eliminated from playoff contention. However, they could finish 9-7 with the win. They would like to go out with a winning record, I believe. Cincinnati is decimated with injuries. Their last 4 losses, though, were by 5 points or less. Being a divisional game, this still could be a close one. Cincy may play for pride in this one, but given their record, I really don't see the point in playing many of their starters in this particular game. And Baltimore would like to go out with a winning record this season, and I think they have a little bit more incentive in this one. So I'm going to take the Ravens on the road to win. Now, the next game. I'm going to take the Washington Redskins to win at home over the New York Giants. Washington does have something to play for in this game. They can make the postseason, I believe, with a victory. Now, quarterback Kirk Cousins has really surreptitiously become the number 2 passer in the NFL in terms of passing yards right now. And the Giants right now, they have their spot wrapped up. Giants right now, though, are struggling in terms of scoring. They're only averaging about 19 points per game. Their defense has played very well this season. But another thing, too, is that the Giants, they stated on ESPN, it seemed like Eli Manning will likely play at least part of the game. Now, wide receiver Odell Beckham right now has 96 receptions. My feeling is they'll probably play him to get that to 100 receptions in this game, but it's not going to be enough to enable the Giants to win. Simply put, Washington has more to play for than the Giants right now, and I like the Washington Redskins to win at home. Next game. Well, next game, in another insignificant, well, this game is pretty much meaningless, but I like Tennessee to win at home over the Houston Texans. Now, Tennessee is now 8-7. They would like to go out with a winning record. Quarterback Marcus Mariota, of course, is out in this game. Now, Houston now has clinched a division. They're only 2-5 on the road, and Houston still, they only scored 12 points last week, so it's hard for me to see them in a game which really doesn't have any significance for them. How much offense are they really going to be able to generate in this one? I think Tennessee going to be a little bit more motivated. If they win, they could at least boast that they finished with the same record as Houston, even though they didn't win the division on virtue of the tiebreaker scenario. So anyway, I like Tennessee to win at home. Now, the next game. I want to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win at home over the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay has not played well in recent weeks. They've dropped their last 2, but I really like the progression. Quarterback Jameis Winston being a team leader, wide receiver Mike Evans. I could see them playing in this game, and like I stated before with the Titans, Tampa Bay is 8-7. They would like to win this game and be able to go 9-7. My understanding is that Tampa Bay had a minuscule chance, a very minuscule chance of actually making the playoffs, so they have a little more to play for than Carolina. Carolina is allowing nearly 26 points per game. Quarterback Cam Newton has just simply has not been the same quarterback we saw last season, and Carolina only has 1 victory this season over a team with a winning record. I like Tampa Bay to win at home. Next game. Well, this should be an awesome game to say the least. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers to win on the road over the Detroit Lions. Green Bay has won 5 consecutive games. They're like plus 13 in turnover differential in that span. And what you don't really hear talked about a lot is wide receiver Jordy Nelson is leading the NFL in 14 touchdown receptions. And quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been playing lights out. He was actually playing well even when they were slumping before this surge. And you look at Detroit right now, they've lost 2 consecutive games. They are 6-1 at home. They do have that going for them. The quarterback Matt Stafford has 0 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. They're kind of going in a little bit of a slump right now, the Lions. It seems like Green Bay and Detroit are going in opposite directions. Detroit is still a very good team. Don't get me wrong. They are at home. But in this matchup, I think based on how Green Bay is playing right now, I do like the Packers to win this one on the road. Now, the next game. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to win over Jacksonville. Indy, I believe, would like to finish the season 500. Even though they're eliminated from playoff contention, I think Andrew Luck and company would like to seek redemption in this particular game, given they did lose to Jacksonville earlier this season. T.Y. Hilton is the NFL leader in receptions in terms of catches that are over 20 yards. He has 27 of them. I think he's going to give the Jacksonville secondary fits in this game. Jacksonville just has a 1-6 record on the road, and they're number 32, dead last in defensive interceptions. So I think in this game, Andrew Luck, I believe he will play, and I think he will put up a lot of passing yards against this Jacksonville secondary. And I do like, T.Y. Hilton in the last game they played Jacksonville was held to 42 receiving yards. I don't think that's going to happen again. I like Indy to win at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots to win on the road over the Miami Dolphins. New England is a flawless 7-0 on the road right now. They will have something to play for because they want to clinch a number 1 overall spot in the AFC, which of course would give them home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. And they beat the Dolphins earlier this season. That was without Tom Brady. Running back LeGarrette Blount is really having a sensational season. I think he might run amok over that Miami run defense, which is ranked number 30 in the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed per game, about 142. Miami, though, has been on a rampage. They have won 9 of their last 10. They are at home, but the defense has been ravaged with injuries, and I think they're likely going to sit a lot of those defensive starters on that team because Miami has done everything but lock up that number 6 spot right now. There may be a very outside chance of them getting the number 5 seed, but they'll likely stay at the number 6. This game really doesn't have much significance for them, but it does for New England. I like the Patriots to win on the road. Now, the next game. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to win at home over the Chicago Bears. Minnesota, right now, they don't have much to play for. They would like to finish at 500. They are 4-3 at home. The defense is capable of playing well. It hasn't looked as good in recent weeks. But Chicago, they're robust 0-7 on the road this season. They have been competitive, even a lot of their losses, though, but they are on the road in this one. They have lost 6 of their last 7. They've lost 3 consecutive games. And Minnesota, neither one of these teams have really looked superlative in recent weeks, but Minnesota a little bit better. To me, I'm going to take Minnesota, and they are at home, so I'm going to take the Vikings to win at home and close the season out at 500. Next game. Well, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win at home over the New York Jets. Rex Ryan, as many of you may know, has been terminated. But at the same time, Buffalo does want to avenge that Week 2 loss to the Jets. And Buffalo really, with the exception of that last game against the Jets, they've had the Jets number in recent time. Now, Buffalo, in the last 2 games, they have scored 64 points. The Jets in the last 2 have only scored 16. In fact, the Jets have been outscored 75-16 in those last 2 games. Jets are only 1-6 on the at home. There's some turmoil in the Jets locker room right now, and really, the way I say the Jets, really with their backup quarterback, I don't think he's going to be able to do that much. I like Buffalo to win this one on the road. Next game, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win at home over the Dallas Cowboys. A little bit of a surprise. I know a lot of you think, well, Dallas, maybe they'll play their starters for most of the game and they're going to go in there and win. But Philadelphia has actually been a very good home team. They got nothing to play for right now. They're going to be very loose. They're 5-2 at home. And in the game they lost to Dallas earlier this year, that was just 29-23, and that was in overtime at Dallas. I think Philadelphia is going to be seeking retribution this game. I know they don't have the best record in the world. They're out of playoff contention. But I think they would like nothing more than to win this game because of this rivalry. Win this game and go out the season with a victory over their rivals. But Dallas has clinched the #1 spot throughout the playoffs. They don't really have much to play for. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's at a pretty good distance from Eric Dickerson's rookie rushing record. So I really don't know if they're going to be playing him that much. Maybe they'll play Dallas. Starters may play a half in this game, but it's all speculation. Who really knows with Dallas? I mean, they played their starters for a good portion of that last game against the Lions, but I don't think they're going to play him as much in this one as opposed to the last game. So I like the Eagles to win at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to win at home over the Cleveland Browns. I understand from what I was seeing on ESPN that it looks like Pittsburgh is likely going to sit their starters at least for the majority of this game. However, Pittsburgh has still dominated this series in recent years. They've won 7 of the last 8 from Cleveland, and I don't think they want to go out of the season with the last game losing to the ignominious Browns. The Browns, okay, they got their one victory last week. I know they got some swagger and some confidence from that. But it's going to be a little different going into Pittsburgh, even though they won't be playing against the starters that much in this game. Cleveland just won by 3 points at home in that particular contest last week. And for me right now, I think Pittsburgh, I mean, it's a team that has pride, and even though they got their playoff position set, I believe, Cleveland, they don't want to lose to Cleveland. I just think it's a lot of it's going to be about that, and I think they will win this game. So I like Pittsburgh at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals to win on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. The only Los Angeles, I mean, they couldn't win at home against San Francisco last week. They have lost 6 in a row. They're just 1-6 at home. Arizona right now, they're just playing for pride. I don't think they want to end the season losing to the Rams. And, I mean, Arizona, they went into Seattle, and they gave Seattle their first home loss this season. I think they could do that. They're more than capable of beating the Rams in LA. I like Arizona to win on the road in this one. Next game, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to win at home over the Oakland Raiders. Now, Denver would, I mean, they're knocked out of the playoffs, but they would like to finish with a winning record this season. They're still number 6 in total defense. They're one of the, as far as sacks, they're among the leaders in defensive sacks. Now, Oakland quarterback Derek Carr is not playing in this game, and I think that's going to impact this game. Now, Oakland does have something to play for. Whether New England wins or not, Oakland can still, they could win this. If they win this game, they could get the AFC West title over Kansas City. But I just think Denver being at home, I think in this particular contest, Denver is going to play for pride. I believe they want to finish at 9-7, I think, as opposed to 8-8. This is a fierce rivalry. I think Denver still has the horses to get this done, and I like Denver to win this one at home. Now the next game, I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win on the road over the San Diego Chargers. Kansas City right now, if they win and Oakland loses, they get the division title. San Diego has lost 4 straight. They haven't surpassed 17 points as far as their offense in the last 3 games. The offense has struggled. Now, the one thing that they've got going for them, though, is as far as their pass defense, they lead the NFL with 17 defensive interceptions. Kansas City has 16. So you might get a couple interceptions in this game now, but Kansas City right now, I think, is still head and shoulders over San Diego. And Kansas City has something to play for. San Diego doesn't. I like Kansas City to win on the road. Last but not least, well, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks to win this one on the road against San Francisco. Seattle right now, despite having an offense that's sporadic and erratic, they lost a game in which I felt they underachieved last week. I really didn't think they had any business losing at home to Arizona. However, in this particular game, whether Atlanta wins or not earlier in this day, when they play on Sunday, I think Seattle still would like to go out with a victory because they simply don't want to go into the postseason losing 2 consecutive games, and especially if Atlanta loses and Seattle would have something to play for in this particular contest. That's some more incentive right there. I don't think Atlanta's going to lose that game to the Saints, but if by the chance they do, Seattle would have an opportunity to move up in terms of their playoff positioning. Now, San Francisco is just 1-6 at home. The only team they defeated is the Rams, and their run defense, of course, is abysmal. I think I could see Seattle running amok in this particular game and really exploiting that run defense for San Francisco. I don't think it's going to matter if Colin Kaepernick is quarterback or what have you. I do like Seattle to win this one on the road. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.